Is it? Good afternoon. My name is Jessica. I am a staff advocate here at Disability Rights New Jersey. I work with both the assistive technology team, our ATAC team, and our employment team. And today I am going to talk to you about transition and our new ASPYIR Transition Planning Tool. Next slide, please.
A little bit about disability rights, who we are, and the organization that we're working with to be able to present this webinar to you all. We are the State Protection and Advocacy Agency, which means that we've been granted by the state the opportunity to protect and advocate for individuals with disabilities throughout the state. We're designated by the governor and we're incorporated in 1994. And it is the mission of Disability Rights New Jersey to preserve the human, civil, and legal rights of people with disabilities and empowering equality through persistence, awareness, and expertise. We provide legal assistance to individuals in issue areas such as abuse and neglect, discrimination, voting rights, access to services and supports, and employment. In addition to our individual representation, we have unique authority under this mandate to monitor for and investigate abuse and neglect in any facility that serves people with disabilities. And today we are partnered with the New Jersey State Bar Foundation, which is an organization that provides no-cost educational programs to help individuals understand the laws in New Jersey. The mission of the New Jersey State Bar Foundation is to foster an increased awareness, appreciation, and knowledge of law and the legal systems among New Jersey residents. This organization serves as a statewide resource for law-related education for the public, and it provides opportunities for attorneys to serve the public through foundation programs such as the one that we're funded under. Their goal also is to foster professionalism and pride in the profession of law through public service.
Great, thanks. So we're going to jump right in here. In order to talk about transition, one of the things that we need to discuss is self-advocacy, because self-advocacy is such a crucial part of transition and transition planning. So first, to go through what self-advocacy looks like for your child. It is person-centered first and foremost. Self-advocacy is still self-advocacy even when your child has assistance. You should always do your best to have ongoing discussions with your child about what they feel they can and cannot do. Talk with them about your feelings. Do you agree or disagree with their feelings, and why is that? If your child has significant support needs, what are ways in which you can try and work with them to establish some self-advocacy? Small actions and demonstrations of self-advocacy are just as important as big actions. So again, thinking ahead to what you can do to help your child prepare, requesting assistive technology evaluations if your child does not communicate through verbal speech, and other evaluations as appropriate. Make a point of regularly talking to your child about their interests and needs. This will improve their comfort in making their own decisions, and starting to get comfortable trying to let go and allow your child more opportunities to make their own decisions. In order to support self-advocacy, this means helping the student to understand their interests, encouraging them to pursue their goals. It is being there to assist them with decision-making, but not making the decision for them and not kind of saying to yourself, oh, well, I would feel better if they went this route rather than that route. You really want to try and be there to assist, but ultimately have them make the own decision for themselves. And then finally, providing tools that help them advocate for themselves. So we have to also address what is not self-advocacy support, which is some of these examples, but it's of course not an exhaustive list. So first we have, my child will never be able to advocate for themselves. So instead, something you might want to ask yourself is, what assistance do they need to better advocate for themselves. You might also think it's easier if I do it for them. Instead, you might want to look at what are ways in which I can help them and make it easier, but are they learning to speak for themselves? We may want to help them and make that process easier for our students, but are they learning to do it on their own? And then finally, something we've heard before a lot when we're working with students and parents together. They just aren't sure they know what they want, so I decide for them. So instead of deciding for your students, we encourage you to try to help them understand their decisions and options. Really give them the opportunity to learn as much as they can. Next slide, please. So, self-advocacy for students, again, is person-centered. It is about practicing self-advocacy in big and small ways. Even when a student has assistance, it is still self-advocacy. And so a supportive example of this would be getting comfortable asking teachers and supporters for assistance in or out of the classroom setting. Next slide, please. Okay, so we are almost to the point where we're going to start talking about ASPYIR, but first we need a little bit of information on transition planning. So what is transition planning in school? It is the process of determining a student's strengths, needs, and preferences in order to help them graduate high school and prepare for young adulthood. How Disability Rights New Jersey can help with this process? Well, first and foremost, we can assist your student with completing ASPYIR. Not that we will choose the answers for them. The answers will still be their own, and their surveys will still be their own, but we will assist them. We can also help interpret the ASPYIR results. We can promote person-centered practices and self-advocacy with your student and really hit home the importance of practicing self-advocacy on a regular basis. They also have the opportunity, students also have the opportunity to discuss community agencies that could assist transition age students with needs in or out of home, in or out of school, and in and out of work. And if needed, our grant funding allows us to advocate for students to receive transition services from local school districts and the vocational rehabilitation agencies. So, transition questions for youth to consider. Have you ever been invited to your IEP meetings? Have you ever been asked your interests and are they reflected in the IEP? Have you been connected to other agencies that may be able to better provide services, or were you just told to contact them as opposed to having the assistance connecting with them? Has anyone ever discussed pre-employment transition services with you, otherwise known as PREETs? Have you had assessments to help determine your transition needs? So, on to the ASPYIR Transition Planning Tool. First and foremost, ASPYIR stands for Accessing Strategies to Prepare Youth for Independence and Responsibility. Our main goal with ASPYIR is to assist students with advocating for themselves at IEP meetings and helping them to develop the transition section in their IEP. However, as we will find out once we move on throughout this presentation, ASPYIR can help everyone, not just those who have IEPs. It is an online questionnaire that generates a report which assists students in preparing to graduate high school and start life after high school. And as we've said before, each report is individualized and person-centered. ASPYIR helps students to better understand their strengths, interests, preferences, and goals for their life after high school. You'll notice that language sounds familiar. It's often used in individualized education plans. ASPYIR is a series of questions in three main areas: education, employment, and independent living. These areas assist them in developing ideas about the goals that they have in each of these spaces. So the questions are going to allow them to develop goals in each of these areas. And then what happens is that the report comes with a list of community agencies and organizations that provide additional supports for students with disabilities. Sections of the ASPYIR tool include hobbies, interests, motivation, goals, receiving help, IEPs, strengths, preferences, needs, accommodations, self-advocacy, and organizations for people with disabilities. And again, you'll notice to the right, we have our graph depiction that focuses on our three main areas: independent living, education, and employment. So now we're going to talk about the process of actually taking the ASPYIR planning tool and what that looks like in the upcoming slides. So there's different sections of ASPYIR. They include my education and training goals for after high school, my employment goal, my goal for independent living after high school, goals for self-advocacy, course of study, and community agency and adult services. So this is what the beginning of the ASPYIR planning tool looks like. You'll notice that there's three buttons that you could potentially press here. The first is the instructions. It shows you how to go through the planning tool. The second allows you to start the planning tool, and the third button goes over frequently asked questions. I advise everyone who takes ASPYIR to please look at the frequently asked questions before starting the planning tool. So you may want to start right away. It's kind of like when students get really excited when taking a short quiz to run through the answers. But it's important to read everything before you begin. So definitely look at the frequently asked questions before starting the planning tool. Okay, so this is a sample question in education. It says here, I want to continue my education or job training by, and you'll notice a couple of different things. So first off, the options all give you the opportunity to write more in drop-down areas if you know where you would like to attend. So for example, I have pre-selected answers here. I have said I am interested in attending a 2-year college or university, and I'm also interested in attending a 4-year college or university, and I have listed Mercer County in the 2-year slot and Rutgers in the 4-year slot. Now, if I wanted to go ahead and add to this list, I could circle, I could click on as many options as I was interested in. If I wanted to get another certification program as well as the college experience, I could click that. If I was interested in entering the military, I could also click that. You could really click on as many options as you would like. So that just gives you an idea. Okay, so as far as the report results are concerned, once you get your generated report that has the answers to your survey questions, you will see that because I had selected Mercer County Community College and attending let me say that better. Because I had selected attending a 2-year college and then typed in Mercer County College, and I had selected attending a 4-year college and typed in Rutgers, that those are the answers that appear in your survey results. Okay. All right, so our next sample question is related to employment. Unfortunately, the slides are a little bit hard to read based on the red, but I will decipher them verbally. So it says, I need help with the following areas to prepare for work. And it lists all of these options, including but not limited to career surveys, attending career fairs, interview skills, job applications. So if I were to select what's in red, which is supposed to be understanding my benefits, how to explain my disability, and learning skills needed to get and keep a job, and we go to the next slide, my report results would reflect that, how to explain my disability and learning skills needed to get and keep a job. Again, whatever you click, whatever you select is going to appear in your results. And this is why the reports are person-centered. Everyone's survey results are going to look unique to their needs and wants. So this is a sample question for independent living. I want to learn more about the following so I can be independent in my home and or community. Choose all that apply. So I have selected learning more about safe and healthy relationships, making medical appointments, speaking with health professionals and understanding my medications, time management, and managing my money. So our report results would then look like everything that I had previously selected. Time management, money management, making medical appointments, etc., and learning more about safe and healthy relationships. Really, very crucial parts of independent living. But again, someone may select more of these. They may select more options. They may select fewer. It's really up to them. So Aspire is available online. When completed, as I've said before, an individualized and person-centered report is available and can be downloaded or sent to the student's email. In addition to being sent to the student's email, it can also be sent to a teacher or a family member. So you have the choice of deciding whether or not to immediately download it for yourself or for others and or emailing it to them. You can do both. You can do one or the other. It's up to you. The Disability Rights New Jersey Advocate, that would be me, is available to complete the transition planning tool with students and help them understand how to use the results. Again, I'm going to caution you, if you decide to not use the advocate assistance and you decide to, for example, take the planning tool independently with your student or on your own, if you're getting support, you need to make sure that the student is the one answering their own questions. Because what happens otherwise is that the planning tool results are not geared towards the student. They are entirely geared toward what someone chose for them and wanted them to select. So the planning tool becomes not their own at that point. Next slide, please. And then utilizing the results. First and foremost, again, this was originally created for students to be able to be better advocates at their IEP meetings, to be able to advocate as much as possible on their own and take an active role in their meetings. This is also the same case for transition planning meetings. It's very typical for students to be talked around instead of being actively engaged in a conversation that is really about them. So having the opportunity to use the results in your transition planning meeting allows you to have more of a voice, literally and figuratively. You can also use the planning tool on your own as a guide when starting a new job. You can use it as a reminder to your support team when working on independent skill building in your personal life. You may use the planning tool for rehab purposes, such as your individualized plan for employment, IPE. As a reminder for requesting specific work accommodations, whenever I use Aspire with students, I always encourage them to bring their results with them on the first day of a new job, because you're nervous on your first day of work naturally. So your employment section of Aspire provides you with a list of accommodations that you've already pre-selected that would be as helpful for you. So that's a really good way to use the tool in real time. Use the tool results in real time. You can also use the planning tool when working with a job coach or support coordinator. Again, students often are talked around instead of spoken to in support coordinator situations. For example, it may be more beneficial for the student to be using the planning tool to take a more active role in deciding what activities and support needs that their support coordinator is going to assist them with. And then finally, it can also help you identify areas of interest for work or career. We want to make a special note here. Your Aspire planning tool does not replace transition assessments when developing your IEP or your individualized plan of employment, IPE, when you have graduated. You cannot simply take these results and think that they make up the bulk of your transition section of the IEP. This is really a separate planning document that helps a student get started with the process of figuring out what they want and need. It does not take the place of these other really important documents. Next slide, please. Okay, so it says here, being your own self-advocate is one of the strongest skills you will have. This is incredibly important because self-advocacy is a skill that students can literally take everywhere they go. The idea that someone is able to speak up as much as they're able in whatever ways they're able is very, very important. We know, for example, that support staff have high turnover rates. So using that example, self-advocacy is very critical for students because they end up knowing themselves better than you might actually realize. And not only that, self-advocacy is that skill that they will continue to use when developing their own voice, literally and figuratively, when they decide what they want for education, when they decide what they want for employment, not without assistance, of course, because youth and young adults need guidance. We all know that. But to be able to self-advocate is a really strong and valuable asset that everyone should have, and everyone should have the opportunity to continue to improve upon. Okay, I believe at this point, we're just going to mention that we have our contact information available, and we were wondering also too if there were any. Oh, I totally forgot this section. I'll back up for just a minute. So we have a variety of different resources related to transition here at Disability Rights. First of all, we have the Youth Transition to Adult webpage that provides more information on transition planning, and particularly it provides a student and parent guide to transition planning. We thought here at Disability Rights New Jersey that it was very important to have both a student's guide and a parent's guide. And the reason behind that is because while the parents are obviously the biggest supporter of students in most cases, the students also need to find a way to start developing their own skills so that they're able to do as much as they can on their own with or without assistance, and really determine what it is they want out of their wants, needs, strengths, preferences, etc. So we thought it was very important that that the two guides exist together but separately, so that one is in the student's voice and one is more geared toward the parent.
And these are all resources that are already available on the Disability Rights New Jersey website. And once this presentation is uploaded, we'll also include the PowerPoint presentation, which will include the links that will take you directly to the student's guide and the parent's guide. And Jesse, we did have a question that came in, and I just want to address it really quickly. They said this is a great presentation and a great tool. Can the presentation be given after school hours so the students who need it can learn about the tool? We're actually recording this webinar, and it's going to be hosted on our YouTube channel and also our website as well. So that way it'll be a resource for everybody who looks for more information or wants to have an introduction to it. Or you can also have the students contact Disability Rights New Jersey, and they'll be put in touch with Jesse, who can help them understand the tool and how to best utilize it and what's going to work for them with it. So I'm not sure if we're going to do another version of this presentation at a later time. That's something Jesse and I can talk about. But this presentation as it is today has been recorded and will be shared on the website, and again, also on our YouTube channel.
Thanks, Jana. Are there any other questions? Let me just see if I can. I'm not seeing any on my end. Do you see anything on yours, Jana?
No, I have not seen any other further questions come in. So with that, this presentation, as we were saying, it will be up on our website. As soon as this is done, we will be pulling the recording off of it and sending it over to our website team to be able to get up on our website and onto our YouTube. So it'll be available hopefully within the week for others to be able to watch and be able to get the information as well. We also do want to share with you our contact information so that way you're able to find us. And if anybody has any questions about the ASPYIR tool or Disability Rights New Jersey and how we're able to help you, we have our contact information here. We're located in Trenton, but we serve students and individuals throughout the state of New Jersey. If you call us and say, I have a disability, our response is, how can we help you? So we help people all the way down in Camden County, all the way up into Warren County. We are throughout the entire state, and our services are provided at no cost to individuals. If you'd like to send an email to our organization for assistance, the email here is advocate@disabilityrightsnj.org. And you can find us on Facebook at Disability Rights New Jersey, where we'll have postings about calls to action, events that are coming up. And we also want to put a plug out there that on April 2nd, we're going to be having a Classrooms to Careers Law Conference in New Brunswick from 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Registration is now open, so please feel free to check that out because it's going to have a lot of great information and panels available.
So we want to thank everyone for joining today, and we hope that you tell your friends, families, supporters, colleagues about ASPYIR. And hopefully we hear from you soon, and we look forward to helping those throughout our communities. Thanks very much.